Hey guys, I am just hopping on. I had to make I didn't have to. I am making a custom faux floral arrangement, so I figured why not hop on live and say hello, see how everybody's doing. Hey Connie, how are you? Let's see. Hey Carol, how are you ladies doing? I am working on the custom mortar. It's Bruno with his bone, so sorry about that. All right, I'm just gonna start by just sizing up our foam block. All right, so it's gonna come just like a little bit below. Usually if it's flush or if it's a little bit below, it works. Hey Leslie, how are you? I kind of slacked today. I got I went and got my hair done, just like a blowout, and because it's there at the Salon Pure in Salem, New Hampshire, and because they're celebrating Galentine's Day, they had like Prosecco and chocolate covered strawberries for us. It was amazing. Like getting your hair blown out while drinking bubbly is quite the treat, especially midday. Hey Mary, how are you in Virginia? Lenny, okay. You know, we've been through this before where I call you Mary and that's not your name. I'm so sorry. Lenny, how are you? And what's it like in Virginia? Because we are getting like snow on top of snow on top of snow here in New Hampshire. So we had a very mild winter up until like really like maybe like a week ago. And now it just keeps coming. I'm doing very good. I got a custom request for a coastal floral arrangement. And so I figured I will just chat while I make it. All right. Normally when I'm putting in a block, I use my glue gun. I don't have it over here, so I'm just gonna dip this block in glue. I wouldn't exactly recommend it as the safest way to do it, but that's how we're doing it right now. Connie, the kits are up. They are up on the website. So the video's done. It's up. The video's in the members only group, so you can see it on YouTube. And then if you wanted to get the kit, okay. Sorry, my phone's on Do Not Disturb, but you know how like when someone's in your favorites, it goes through anyways, so sorry. That was my pops calling. So in the video, I am doing the kit in blue, but it's the same exact recipe, so you can buy the kit in pink or blue, and just the video is the same though. All right, so as always, I just took like a whole bunch of like hodgepodge stuff and brought it over. 10 inches. Oh, you got a lot, yeah. And you're in Virginia. I don't know why I felt like Virginia was just usually a warmer place. So yes, Carol, I do sell on Etsy, and then I also have my direct website. Are you somebody that sells? All right, so right now I'm just gonna kind of like lay out the groundwork here. I'm gonna use ficus. Ficus is like my, kind of like my binky. Oops. Okay, Bruno is what? No, go on. You're good. Go on. My dog is walking around and I just am always very nervous about a glue pot being out. When I have my glue pot at my regular workbench, I have it tied up with like one of those cord bundlers, but I don't have one over here, so. All right, so I'm designing on a Lazy Susan, so I can kind of keep it spinning to make sure everything's nice and balanced. I'm very excited to use this Greenery. Is from Joann's, and you know, I always talk about how hit or miss Joann's is. This is so pretty, and I know a few people mentioned that they're closing a huge amount of their stores, and I'm just like praying it does not impact the one in Nashua, New Hampshire, because I love it. It's the most beautiful Joann's I've ever seen. It's huge. I've done like videos of it. I just absolutely love it. And if that goes, like, I think it's better than Michael's, like, hands down. Michael's just kind of, I don't know, they've fallen a bit short, and there's never anybody working there. And if there is somebody working there, I feel horrible for them, because they're pretty much like there on their own, and I just don't know how they do it. My daughter worked there like years ago, but it's like way worse now. Like, there's just, and they do more things. They offer, I'm not raise my seat. They offer more things, like, you know, it's a UPS pickup point. Now they're selling balloons, and I'm like, how much more can you ask like the one person working to do at the store? I don't know. Oh, the only one. And is yours like a big one? Because I know there's some big ones in, I want to say Illinois, because that's, I think, where they're like, I think they're based out of there. That's like their flagship store. I had only known like the little, like, antiquated Joann's, like, up until a couple of years ago when I found this one. It blew my mind. Oh, you have a big one too. So ours has, like, in the center of the store, it has a workshop area. Does yours? Because it can literally, I think it probably seats about 30 people, and it's completely not used. So I did ask one of the employees, like, why, because I'm nosy, and she basically said, like, if the flagship store does something and it doesn't succeed, they basically, like, drop the idea. So workshops weren't doing well in, like, their main store, so they don't use it. But it's a huge space, and it looks like it's really designed for people who want to learn. I mean, it could be used for anything, but definitely, like, with a focus on crickets, like the Cricut machine, which I think is cool, because my beautiful sister-in-law gave me a Cricut and like all of the fixings that go with it, like the Cadillac of Cricuts, and I really don't know how to use it. It just overwhelms me. So I would have loved to have had like a lesson there on how to use it, because I feel like there's a lot of things that I buy that I could potentially just like make myself, or if I'm in a jam, you know, like my wooden letters, like things like that. You know, my wooden letters are all custom cut. And the one I use craft cuts, and it does take weeks. I don't know if my chair can go up any higher. I'm like, I feel like you're not gonna be able to see me. There we go. All right. Yeah, I heard Big Lots bought it, but I haven't really heard anything else, or like the people that own Big Lots bought it, or they were trying to buy it. I just don't know. Oh. So, Carol, that's how I got started. I have no idea how I even started making, like, wreaths are kind of like my thing I do the most, but I also love doing flower arrangements. And that's exactly how I started. Was I used to just make wreaths for fun and give them to like my family and friends. And one time I made like a batch of them and I posted it on Facebook, and one of my friends suggested I sell on Etsy, and I didn't even know anything about Etsy at the time. So I would say I would go for it. I think doing Etsy over a flea market is going to be better business-wise, because Etsy is always going to drive in traffic for us. So, you know, I have a direct website, and I've tried to just like use that and not do Etsy. And the 1 year I did it, it really, really hurt my business. So it's important to get the traffic from Etsy, and then sometimes you acquire, you know, clients that they're going to buy from you on any platform. Like if somebody buys on my website, it's the exact same thing. It just doesn't have like the Etsy fees. So usually it's like, I don't know, like a 10% savings or something like that. So I say go for it. If it's something you love to do, then you should absolutely pursue it. You know, if you can get a side hustle going or have it be like your full-time, you know, passion, I mean, that's amazing. You know, like there's certain things that just don't feel like work, and if you're able to do something like that, then you should feel very lucky. I do not have my glue pot hot enough. You can see all these glue strings. Hello, Janae. I was thinking about you the other day. I don't know if we're like connected on Facebook. That's what got me thinking of it, because I'm like, I haven't heard from Janae, and I was wondering how you were doing and how business is going. So if we're not, I gotta either send you a request or you send me a request or whatever, but I felt like I lost touch with you and I was bummed about it. So I'm glad to see your name pop up. All right, thanks for popping in, Lenny. Enjoy the rest of your night. Oh, I appreciate you sharing too, thank you. I always appreciate a good share. Helps me out quite a bit. All right, so we're gonna go in with these. I think these are like ranunculus, and these are actually from that Joann's. Okay, so these are from Pioneer. Most of what we're using is gonna be from Pioneer, but there's a couple things like these that are gonna be from Joann's. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, well, either way, you can always reach out to me. We love having you in the group because you're just like an awesome member. You have been since like day one. I mean, I think you literally like hopped on a Zoom call like after being a member for like a few hours. But yeah, definitely reach out. All right, so I'm gonna keep these clustered. We're gonna go with this. I just have glue everywhere right now. She was too hot, it turned her down, and now she is not hot enough. So I've seen that people are people are working on Easter, and I'm just so not good at like getting ahead of things. I'm really gonna make an effort. So I'm curious if you guys are working on Easter. I know if Amber sees this, she made a beautiful, beautiful Easter wreath. Like, it just made me happy looking at it. Like, all those, like, colors, all those, like, pretty pastels. I don't know. I think there's a bit of nostalgia. One, because, like, Easter's the only time I could ever eat candy in church as a kid. But it's just such a fun holiday. Very, very fun, especially when you have little ones. 30 seconds. It was a very last minute thing, and you got in. You got the Zoom link right on time. Janae is like the sweetest. She has some like older neighbors that love the Grinch, and over Christmas she made this like adorable Grinch wreath, and then she, and I think your son helped as well, decorated like their porch, did the doormat, like did a whole like bunch of things. And I was like, the world needs more of that kind of like kindness. That's something people don't forget. Clearly, I haven't forgotten, Janae, because it wasn't even my doorstep, but I remember it because it was so sweet. It was such a sweet gesture, and they were so happy. Yeah, I love these greens. I don't know what they are. They kind of look a little bit houseplantish to me, but I think that like with them all cut up, they're gonna blend in like really nicely. And they just look very lifelike, very fresh. Do I have one more? I just don't want to use these like super thick stems. Let me just grab another one. And they'll all be the same size. So like usually when I am working, I like to like listen to podcasts and, you know, like motivating things and all that stuff. I have been so obsessed between like the drama with the whole Blake Lively thing, and then like Kendrick Lamar at the Super Bowl was like amazing. And I'm like, I can't like get enough of it. My husband's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I just can't stop. I just so curious. So curious / nosy. Oh, they still have it up. See? So sweet. What an awesome, awesome gift. And don't you notice that like when you give something, oftentimes like you get more back in return? Like part of it is like, you know, that's like how the universe works. But also it's like, it's not your intention to get anything back, yet you do. You get a lot back in return. And I think that's awesome. All right, so I'm gonna go in with some of this greenery. So we're gonna do some greenery. We're gonna do some Queen Anne's lace. And see where we go from there. I kind of have like a new rule that I like to have like a minimum of 3 different types of greenery. We're doing a kit with TMI soon, TMI Gifts, and it has 5 different kinds of greenery. So if like somebody is not really sure about like the greenery families and all that stuff, it's a great way to like get to know your greenery, because they're all in the yellow base family, which like these are all, this is yellow base. So, you know, you can kind of actually see on this one, it specifically has like flecks of yellow, but there's like the yellow family, and then there are the blue family of greenery, which that's more like your lamb's ear, your eucalyptus, you know, it just has like that different color. Can be a little bit on the gray side, be on the blue side, obviously. Oh, I'm glad you're liking it so far. Floral arrangements come together like so like easily or effortlessly. I don't know, I think they're very fun to make. I think wreaths are fun too. But like, I think just getting like to sit and like chill out while you're working is nice. I have my little can of recess, which I don't know if anybody's had this before, but it is like, it's non-alcoholic, and it's got like adaptogens in it and like different types of mushrooms. So it's there to like help you relax and elevate your mood. And I love it. Just get it like right off of Amazon. These are a different hydrangea that are than what's in the wreath kit. The other ones are more of like a fuller head versus these are they're smaller and they came like on a bush, and so like they're different shapes. And I think I'm gonna have to do another wreath kit because I was looking at what I ordered. So for my in-person workshops, which is what that wreath kit is, everybody almost has chosen the blue kit. So I have, and Connie, this will make you very happy, I have tons and tons of pink florals on hand. Really, like, pink is usually Trump, but it is blue this time around. I feel like maybe, I don't know, 5% of the people have signed up to do the pink and white palette, which I just thought was odd. But blue hydrangeas are also a classic, so I get that too. This is good greenery. I have to look up what it is. And for anybody, if you are a designer and you have like your business ID, Joann's has like a bulk program called Joann Plus. And honestly, like the program has dwindled down. It used to have like a ton of stuff. I'm sure it has to do with like their current, you know, like state with the finances and all that stuff. But you used to be able to get things in like big quantities for like a bulk price, like a wholesale price. Like for my workshops, when I wanted to kind of like revamp my tools, I was able to get, I had to buy 48 of them, which was fine. But I had to get 48 of these wire cutters. They were originally $13 and I got them for like $3.50 or something like that, something very inexpensive, and they work great. For years I was kind of like, I bought several different types of wire cutters, and because, you know, you're buying for like a large group, I kept trying to find like a good deal on Amazon, and they just were never very good. So I always joked and told people it was my poor man's liability policy not to give them sharp tools, but now they have good tools to work with. Yep. Oh, let me see if I'm going to say it right. Chinoiserie. Yes. I actually got a bunch of chinoiserie themed ribbon from D. Stevens, and it was a good price, and it's beautiful. I mean, I think it's a classic. Like, if you go to basically like any influencer on Instagram, like that, you know, focuses on like their home decor, those ginger jar prints and the ginger jars, they're just everywhere. So they are a classic for sure. I do want to find some like cobalt blue ribbon to pair with it. I've been trying to work on my ribbon game. Trying so hard. So Etsy is work to put together, but Etsy's not a race. It's a marathon. So, you know, you just do a little bit at a time. Like, I wouldn't sit down and say like, okay, I'm gonna start my Etsy shop today and get it going. You know, you have to come up with your name. You need to have photos, you know, shop policies, but you just do a little at a time. And like anything else, like you're learning as you go. And I'm still learning, and I think we're always going to be learning because things change. So I would say go for it and just don't put so much pressure on yourself that like everything needs to click and everything needs to come together really quick. because it's just not realistic. It doesn't matter if anybody's like technical skills, there's just a lot involved in it. And I'm always happy to answer questions. You know, there are certain things that hurt Etsy shops that, you know, not everyone realizes off the bat. And one of them is having having policies in place and having, what is that, like the privacy, it's that little blurb, like basically like we don't sell your information. Like there's certain things that Etsy wants you to do. It doesn't tell you like you have to do it, and you don't, but it's going to be more likely to like pull your shop up in the algorithm versus a shop that doesn't have like those things in place. And then once, you know, when you're doing a listing, you can list up to 10 photos. And this is something interesting I just learned again. So you're supposed to always use 10 photos. And, but I was listening to that Etsy, they had an Etsy expert panel a few weeks ago, and what they said they like to see is not only just like photos of what you're selling, but like behind the scenes, like what does your work area look like, or what does, you know, like your table look like when you're designing. Like people want to get that human connection. That's why they go to Etsy, is that they know that there's like a person on the other side of it that isn't doing it like just for money. Like they're doing it because they love it, like, you know. And that's why I go to Etsy too. It's a romanticized platform where you get something that is, you know, very unique, very customized. Janae, do you have a shop open? Or is that in the works? Will you remind me? Because I feel like Etsy's intimidating if you put too much pressure on yourself. And, you know, you're going on Etsy because you're doing something that you love. In the works. Awesome. And you want to continue to enjoy it. So just do what you can. And when your Etsy shop is open, even if your friends and family are used to, like, you know, if they paying you directly, whatever, you really want to ask people to start going through your Etsy shop, and that can be a little bit uncomfortable. However, it gives your shop validity. You know, if somebody sees there's 6 sales versus no sales, and they might say like, is there something going on, or is it like not legitimate? As opposed to, again, if you have 6 sales, you know, you need it to go through Etsy, the sale, in order to get a review. And reviews are important. I'm sure, like when you guys are shopping for stuff, like I actually always look at the worst review. I don't know if that's really the right thing to do, but I always see what the biggest complaint is. I like that more than like whatever the highest rating is. I don't know. I'd like to know what the worst case scenario could be. All right, we're gonna go in with this ruscus. So this ruscus is from Pioneer. One of my go-tos. I find it like to be very natural. I like the movement of it. And I also, when I'm doing arrangements, I like to have something kind of like crawling down. And so this is a great fit for that, I think. Oh, you're launching next Friday. Very exciting. Very exciting. If I can help with anything, please let me know. And if you wanted like a quick like shop overview, I'm happy to do that too. I mean, you certainly don't need me, but I am here for you if you like. I hear Bruno coming. Hello, Bruno. There's like hundreds of dollars of lighting here. Hi. Can you believe this guy is 10 months old? All right. Yeah, there's, all right, seats. good seats. Hundreds of dollars worth of lighting here, and he just keeps walking over the wires, and it's just stressing me out. Because Bruno is a bull in a china shop. I actually think he needs glasses. Like, he's yawning. Like, sometimes he just bumps into me when he's walking by, like what's up, bro? He's not too concerned. Yeah, let me know, Janae. And yes, that and like the glue pot I was saying too, because like when I have it on my bench, it's all bundled up so that he can't get to the cord. But here, like, the cord is on the ground, and like the worst thing in the world, if you've ever been burned with a glue pot, even like a dollop, I don't know if dollop's the right word, but like a drop of glue, it hurts so bad. And I can't even imagine if a glue pot ever fell over. See, I love ruscus. It's just so nice and airy. I like when floral arrangements look so real, like somebody like waters them or thinks about watering them. I can't keep any plants alive, which is probably part of why I love faux florals so much. But they've also just come such a long way. Like, there are some things that you cannot tell the difference unless you touch them. And even then you have Real Touch flowers, which Real Touch is great for indoor. It's not great for outdoor. I do think Real Touch Greenery could probably go outdoors, just based on, like, it's pretty plasticky, but like whatever they use for flowers, it's not meant to like weather outdoors. And like UV spray, I don't think anything is going to change the fact that it's just an indoor material. I have these like blue buttons. I'm gonna add these in. I think these are called, I think they're like billy buttons. And I think a couple of these would be cute. Let me just see. They have like super weak stems. I don't like that. I got a pick machine off of eBay, which would be perfect for this, but it didn't come with like the weight. Like, a weight needs to hold down, it needs to hold down the, those staple things, whatever you want to call them, and I haven't been able to use it yet. Oh, awesome. See the dimension, and I like all the, like, the different textures. I kind of like think about paintings that like make you really like stop and like look at them, because it takes a, like you're processing what you're seeing. And I feel like when you have a lot of texture, it kind of does the same thing. So I'm gonna put these on these floral picks because these are just super like weak. They'd be good in a wreath. They're not gonna go into this foam though. So I'm just gonna wire it on, and then I'm just gonna take floral tape. I don't know if you can see. And so floral tape isn't an adhesive, it is like tacky. So when you're covering up your wire, you're really using like pressure to have it adhere to your stem. 1, 2. I'm going to do 5 of them. I'll just prep them all at once. Yeah, so Carol, there are some videos on my YouTube page about Etsy, if you find that helpful. And then definitely, if ever you have questions, I'll do my best to either answer it, or if I don't have the right answer, I will find it for you. Yeah. And that's the right attitude. I mean, there's always going to be people who like are up to, you know, really up to speed with things. And I find that helpful. Like, I think that people like Julie Samako, she's really good at like staying up to date with like changes on Etsy or changes on Instagram and like passing that information along. And also Lauren Kilgore is like an Etsy expert, so she's great with, you know, the search terms and just tips in general. Etsy actually had her out to their headquarters like I think like a month or 2 ago. That's a lot. Yeah, I mean, I think things go in waves. I will say right now, for me, Etsy is a bit slow. It's also kind of like that weird time of year where, you know, like I'm not decorating, you know, like so I'm kind of thinking maybe that's the same with other people. But, you know, there's going to be slow times, and then there's going to be times that you almost, like, it could feel overwhelming. So you just got to stay the course and not get discouraged when things are slow. And honestly, like, sometimes it's just nice to enjoy if there is a little bit of downtime, because there's probably other things that we could be doing. We could be working on our Etsy shop, like making it more professional. Maybe we want to focus on like marketing and social media. So just because it's a slow time doesn't mean that like your business overall is slow. It might mean that it's giving you a chance to kind of like position yourself and your shop in a place where, you know, your customers are going to see your work. Because typically if, you know, a listing is like, I think people search like up to usually like the first 3 pages of something on Etsy. Sometimes only 2. So, you know, you can go on those pages and look at what, actually, if you just go to the search bar on Etsy, my biggest tip, or the way I do it, is I just start typing in like wreath, and then you start to see what pre-populates, because it doesn't matter what words we use, like it's what our customers are using. So you wouldn't want to name a wreath like the name of a person, you know, like no one's gonna search for a Patricia wreath, you know, like, or any like cute name. It has to have like what the wreath actually is, and using the words that people use. So you know, would everybody know ranunculus? Like, probably not. But would they know hydrangea, peony? Like, yeah, those are like more common terms. So like those are good search terms. So even, you know, like for this time of year, not like maybe like a month ago, January, I was trying to figure out like what are people categorizing like that in between time for wreaths, and like there were some interesting ones. Like people are saying everyday use wreaths. Even at Christmas or in winter, people were using the term not Christmas wreath. So like I would never type that in, but obviously enough people did, because it's actually showing up high on the search. You know what? I just did all that work and I'm not even sure if I like these in this. So most of my sales will go through my direct website. Also, that's partially because I sell my tickets through there. But like once I acquire a customer and like if I stay in touch with them, which I like to try and do, you know, like if someone sees on your social media platform that you have a direct website, then there's a good chance they're gonna just shop with you through that. So like one kind of lesson that, you know, hit home this year. So, you know, when you're on someone else's platform, and again, Etsy's fantastic because they are going to take the time of acquiring like, you know, traffic. But Etsy had some type of glitch in the fall where if shipping was over $6, it didn't show people on their Apple phones. So, and most, you know, a lot of people do their shopping, or at least their searching on their phones. And it took them like weeks and weeks to correct it. And in the meantime, like shops are just kind of like at their mercy. So it's nice to kind of have like your own real estate where you get to be in charge of like what the policies are, how you want to do things, you know. But Etsy's a good start, and I did Etsy only for the first like several years. I would get that up and running before, like, and get it established before, you know, like diversifying with a website. All right, she is almost done. I wanted to add one of these. I think it's always like nice to just have something a little unexpected. So they're kind of like foam. They look like mossy branches. So also weak stems on here. So I am gonna put this on a floral pick. I'm actually gonna use it though. I actually need to get more of this stuff. I think it's nice. It's got a little bit of whimsy to it, I think. And this stuff is like nice and malleable. So because this is a custom order, I have my customer look at it first. And I mean, people do things different ways, but I want to make sure that I'm actually like carrying out what somebody's vision is. So again, this woman had requested a coastal arrangement and a gold base. And so I want to make sure that she likes it. Like she might not like these twigs. Like that might just be a me thing. So it's good to get feedback, and people enjoy kind of like being in like the driver's seat almost. I mean, you don't go crazy with it, but as far as like, you know, letting people know it's okay to order custom because I'm going to make sure that you get exactly what you want. All right, let's see. I just need a little more ruscus. I think we're going to be good. And even though this arrangement is going to be an indoor arrangement, I still do the UV spray on it. So if you're not familiar, Krylon makes a UV spray specifically for artificial florals. And you can get it for like, I don't know, around 10 bucks at like a Michael's. You can get it at Walmart, something like that. But I think customers appreciate like when we take the extra steps to make sure that their items are going to last. Oh, hey Rosario. Yes, so it's, even if something is going indoors, I always compare it to like, you're supposed to wear sunscreen outside, even if the sun's not really out, or like you're just going to be driving in your car, because you just don't realize like that you're being exposed to UV spray, UV rays. And recently I saw, it must have been on I feel like it was on TMI Gifts website, but they're actually starting to make Greenery, I don't know about florals, but they're actually starting to make like permanent botanicals that are already UV protected. So I have to look into that more. I don't know exactly like if, I mean, obviously the manufacturer's doing it. I don't know if it's like a coating, if it's like the spray. I'm very curious about it, but I think that's cool too. Greenery is always the first to go with the sun. So it turns blue and then it kind of gives it a very unnatural look. My pleasure, Carol. And yeah, Connie, thank you. I love that. That was with those like super bright peonies. They're like fuchsia or magenta. And I'm being like super, like I'm hoarding them. I don't want to use them on just anything. I'm being really particular about how I use them because they sold out again. So it's not like a product that's always going to be available. And so I'm just being like really selective and kind of using it on more of like my high ticket items because the quality is just there. Yeah, all faux florals are not created equal. I did a video, I don't know if I posted it, but I was showing those. There's like these really popular peonies that Amazon sells, and I've used them a bunch. I mean, they are like super vibrant, but they come completely like crushed. They come wrapped in plastic, like really tightly wrapped in plastic, and so you have to steam them. You have to do some work on them. And even though they are beautiful, compared to like an actual peony, they're really not like, I don't know if anatomically correct is right, but it's not, you know, like, to me, Bruno's arguing with another dog. You know, Steve's, we call Steve, which is my littlest dog, FBI Steve, because anytime anything happens, he has to insert himself, so now he's going to insert himself. Oh, he is a beast. I totally forgot what I was talking about. Oh, I think I was saying the Amazon florals. So yeah, like those need some work, but then there's some flowers that you really can't use, which is why I like to shop in person at Joann's and not just buy off their website, because it's kind of, it can be really hit or miss. I feel guilty saying anything bad about Joann's right now because I don't want to lose mine. All right, so I think she is done. I'm gonna take a warm hairdryer. I'm gonna get all of like the glue hairs off of it. And I definitely got some glue on this base. I almost never use ceramic bases. However, like I do use this one from Pioneer. It's like my go-to. And I just save the box that it comes in so that I can actually like put this in its original box with like the bubble wrap, so it's like nice and tight. So yeah, I think, yes, I think that's all I have for you guys tonight. If you are not already following like the page, if you're enjoying this and you want to design together again, please like, subscribe, and share because it helps me out. And I also love just seeing like, you know, getting to know people when designing. It's just always so much fun when I see, you know, my YouTube friends' names pop up. I always appreciate it. So, all right, and here comes Bruno, so like clockwork. So, all right, guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your night, and I will be back soon.